Welcome to this week's video where you'll be learning the best way to wrap your hands.
Oh my God! Wow!
My name is Armin Salvatore and I'm an England boxing coach. And when I started boxing 6 years ago, I had no idea how to wrap my hands with these wraps. I didn't know what wraps to get. I found it so confusing. So by the end of this video, I guarantee you will learn confidently how to wrap your hands the best way and why we wrap it the way we do to get the most amount of protection. Make sure to watch this video all the way to the end, because at the very end, I'm going to give you some bonus tips when it comes to what are the best hand wraps to get. If you have a pair of hand wraps, grab them now and let's do this together.
Okay, let's go.
So I'm going to be wrapping my right hand. First thing you want to do is get the thumb loop onto your thumb, and there's two sides to hand wraps. Some people don't know. So there's one side where it's a bit thicker. This should be the bottom side, okay? The top side should be a bit more smooth. It should be flat. Okay, so make sure you have it the right side round. Once you have it, you want to first start with the wrist, okay? So I'm going to wrap around the wrist 3 times. I'm gently tugging each time I'm wrapping, okay? I'm not pulling it as hard as I can, but just a slight tug just to make sure it's tight. 1, 2, 3. Okay guys, so now we've got our hands wrapped 3 times. You're then going to go under and over one more time, so it should look like this. You're going to wrap it over your top knuckle over here, okay? I'm going to wrap over it once. I'm then going to go under. You guys with me still? Yeah? And then from here, I'm going to go over my knuckle once. And when I'm going over my knuckle, I don't want to go too far up. I want to just about go over my knuckle, and again, slightly pulling it. Okay, and then from here, we're going to do a little England boxing trick, guys. Okay, so what we're going to do is split our hand wraps into half. Okay, so this is what it's like now, flat. You're just going to pinch the side, so now it's halved, okay? So there's 2 layers. And the reason why we do this, if I've now got it in 2 layers, and I'm going to have it over, so it should look like this. Yeah, so it's folded into 2. The reason why we're doing this is now, when we have it over our knuckle, there's twice the protection. We're going to now go around our wrist again, folded 3 times. Okay, so like this, you're going to go around once, twice. It's a lot thinner, but it's only to protect the knuckle. So you just make sure it's right on top of your knuckle, pulling it twice, 3 times. Actually, we wrapped it 6 times because it's double the thickness. So now we're going to go on to securing our thumb, okay, which is another very important part of a hand to protect. I'll go back to a normal hand wrap size. We're not folding it anymore. And we're going to go over a hand. So if you look here, I'm going to go over. So I'm back on the top side. And then from here, I'm going down to my thumb, guys. Yeah, make sure you're with me. I'll give you a couple seconds. I'm going to go down to my thumb. And now what we do is under and over. So we always go under our thumb first. And then we're going to go over it. Okay, so this is where we should be now. We're now going to secure it, the thumb, by going over our wrist 1 time. Again, slightly pulling it. Okay, then we're going to go over our wrist, and then from here, we're going to make a cross. We're going to make a few crosses. So if you think I'm going to go boom, like this, okay? So I'm going to put again over my top knuckle. I'm going to go under, like I did before. And then I'm going to go over my pinky knuckle, okay? So if you look, my wraps have now made a cross. So they're both going 2 different ways. Okay, so now I'm going to again go over my wrist. I'm going to make another cross. Yeah, so over, then I'm going straight, and then making a cross through my pinky finger. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to do it one more time. 3rd time, we're going to make another cross. And what this is doing is not only giving our hand overall protection, but it's actually securing the padding we've just put on our knuckle as well. Okay, so we're going to do one more time, make a cross, boom, just like that, over. And then from here, we're going to go over. And now this time, we're not going to make a cross. The problem is, if we leave it like this, if we keep punching, then it's going to come undone. So what we're now going to do is secure the padding on the top to make sure it stays there. So we're going to go on top of our knuckle again, but this time we're just going to do one normal wrap around our knuckles, just like this, okay? Boom. Okay? So now what we've done here is we've got a lot of padding on our knuckle. We've now secured it in space. We've given our hand overall protection. So all we now need to do is give our wrists a little bit more support. So with whatever hand wrap you got left. And then for the last bit, you want to really get on top of that wrist bone, because that is a very important part to protect. Just like this, okay? And the last thing I like to do, is up to your preference, is to tuck in the inside of your palm, okay? So I like to create a little bit of space and tuck the padding in on the inside. The reason why I like to do this is when I'm holding that glove, I feel a tightness, a security in being able to hold it. Whereas if it's out, I feel like I'm not really grabbing it properly. That's up to your personal preference. And then I also like to tuck the padding on the outside just a little bit. You're just gonna push it in. I'm noticing this video is gonna be really long. So guys, stay with me and watch out for these bonus tips at the end. We have our hand wraps the right way round with the flat bit facing towards us. 3 times, slightly pulling each time. 1, 2, 3. And then from here, we're gonna go around onto our top knuckle, covering that, going under it once. And then from here, we're gonna go around our knuckle 1 time, and then we're gonna fold it by pinching each side, just like this. So now we're creating double the layer. We're gonna now go around just on top of our knuckle 3 times with it folded. So 1, 2, and 1 more time, make sure it's folded nice and neatly. We'll go for it 1 more time. Boom, just like that, okay? Now that we have it folded 3 times around our knuckle, and we're gonna go over once, and then down towards our thumb, protecting our hand and securing that wrap in. We're gonna go under and over our thumb. And then from here, we're gonna secure it on the wrist, slightly pulling. And then when it comes to these 3 crosses we're about to do, guys, make sure your hands are open. Yeah, you don't wanna have them tight like this and then do it. Same way when it comes to doing your knuckle protection. Make sure your fingers are spread apart, okay? So this is gonna allow a lot more comfort and a lot more room for the hand wrap to protect. Because if you have your knuckles and your fingers put together like this, and you do your hand wraps, it's gonna feel very uncomfortable. Your fingers are gonna get squished, your knuckles are gonna get squished, and it could actually injure you guys when it comes to long-term health for your knuckles. So make sure you open your fingers like this. You're gonna cross it once, going under, so over your knuckle, under it, and then from here you're gonna go over, this time going downwards. So again, you've made that cross. We're gonna do this 3 times, and when it comes to tightening it, so when I have it down, then I can tighten my knuckle, okay, to make sure it's nice and tight. So we're now going to secure the padding by going over our knuckle once normally, okay? So normally, like how you normally would, just across your fingers, okay? And then we're now gonna secure it down, making sure we go across that final hand wrap we just did. And then we're gonna secure the rest of the remaining strap onto your wrist, okay? We're gonna make sure it's nice and tight. Now for the bonus tips. When it comes to choosing your hand wraps, you want to make sure that those hand wraps are long enough. England Boxing recommends 4.5 meters, so 4.5 meter hand wraps. That's gonna give you enough length to protect your wrist, your thumb, your overall hand and your knuckles. And another thing to watch out for is the material of your hand wraps, because cheap hand wraps are cheap for a reason. You want to make sure you get nice premium quality hand wraps. When you pull the strap, it has a natural stretch to it, okay? Because a lot of hand wraps I've had in the past, they're very rigid, they can't stretch. Every time I tell you guys pull it, that's what that stretch helps you do. It helps pull it and tighten and truly secure your wrist. Wrapping your hands through your fingers. You can do this. You'll see I have not gone through my fingers that you've probably seen in a lot of videos. Wraps through your fingers. You're constantly, your fingers are spread out like that. Imagine over years of boxing, having those hand wraps in, having it in an hour every day while you're training. That's gonna create a lot of bad health for your knuckle in the future. And this way, I find a lot more comfortable, but it is up to preference. This is the way I got taught as an England Boxing coach. If you want some premium quality hand wrap, you can get some from my brand. It's called Protector Athletic. You can see the hat next to me there, and it's a brand where people believe in protecting other people. And I'll see you in next week's video.